Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with another review, and today I have an outdoor electronic dimmer from our good friends over at Palawell that's really three products in one. It's a dimmer you can use to completely control the brightness of any light that you plug into the end of it, but it's also a timer, and it allows you to set a time period of 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours, and it'll actually count down. When it reaches the end of that time period, it'll turn the lights off. And it's also a switch, because a lot of times when you're using lights on your back deck or your patio, you might not have an outlet outside your home that's controlled by a switch inside your home, so that makes turning those lights on and off a real hassle. This product makes it easier because you can plug this into the outlet, plug your lights into the other end of it, and you can turn those lights on and off as much as you want from inside your home by tapping a single button on your remote control. Now, before I get into all those features, I always like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and that way you understand exactly what you get if you buy this product. And then I'll dive into all the clever features that Palawell's built into this dimmer module, and boy is it a smart product. It really solves a lot of problems with outdoor lighting. And then finally I'll come back and do a really quick demo here to show you just how easy this product will be to use once you get it home. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find the dimmer module, and again, it's pretty straightforward. The one end has a 3-prong plug on it, and this plugs into any outdoor outlet. Now, typically the outdoor outlets are GFI outlets, which stands for ground fault interrupt. Those are the most safe outlets you can use, and they protect you from getting a shock. So plug this into a 3-prong grounded outlet where possible. The other end of it has a standard plug on it, 3-prong again. You can plug your lights in over here. The one thing you have to keep in mind is that the lights you plug in have to be dimmable. So if you're using incandescent lights, which are the old style light bulbs, you'll be just fine. A lot of LED lights are dimmable, and even some CFLs are dimmable, but check the box before you plug it in because the module can only control lights that are dimmable. You can also put a lot of power through this. It's 350 watts, so add up the wattage of all the lights you're plugging in, make sure you keep it under the 350 watts. The last thing I'll mention about this unit is it's completely weatherproof. Now you can use it indoors as well, but it's designed for outdoor use. It's got an IP65 rating on it, which means you can leave it out in the winter, you can leave it out in the summer. It's a great way to control your Christmas lights. If you have a lot of lights outside your home in the wintertime, you won't have to worry about running outside and plugging them in and unplugging them at the end of the night. Also included with the kit is a full function remote, and this is an RF remote, and that's important because a lot of the remote controls that come with these outside dimmers are optical, which means you've got to be within line of sight of the thing, so you end up standing out on your porch to turn your Christmas lights out. With this one, it's RF. You can get 100 feet of distance between the remote and the actual dimmer module, which is great because if this is plugged in your back patio, you don't have to run over to it to turn the lights off or dim the lights or whatever. You can do it all through the remote control. Now, a couple of things that make this a really special product. I mentioned before that it's got a 3-prong grounded plug and an outlet on it. That's super important if you're plugging in and outside because that extra plug, that extra pin on there I should say, is a grounding pin, which makes this completely neutral. You're not going to get a shock from it. You're not going to have any worries about it. It's also completely weatherproof. It's got an IP65 rating, which means you can get it in the rain, you can get it in the snow, you can get it under freezing conditions. You're going to be just fine. So no worries about that. Plug it in. Hopefully a hooded outlet. If you've got a hooded outlet, plug it in there if you can. But the other thing that's nice too is they give you 2 mounting holes right here because if you want to mount it permanently, which a lot of folks like to do, you can plug this into the outlet, put 2 screws through this and bolt it right to the side of your home, and then plug whatever you want to control into this end. So that's really nice. The other thing I like about it is the fact that it does more than one thing. A lot of these outdoor dimmer modules just dim lights, which is great. I mean, that's what they're built to do. And having control over how bright the lights are is kind of a nice thing. But being able to turn the lights on and off is really clever as well, because some of the other dimmer modules don't actually turn the lights all the way off. They'll bring them all the way down to maybe 10% of their brightness, but if I want to turn them off completely when I'm going to bed, I can't use a dimmer module to do that. This one I can turn them on and turn them off, so it acts like an electronic switch. Also, the remote control gives you tremendous functionality. So the top 2 buttons are on and off that turn the lights on to whatever setting you've had before, and I'll get into that in a minute. There's also other buttons on here for the timer. So the blue buttons are the timer buttons, and again, you can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours. Tap that button, the clock will start counting down. When it ends 2 hours, it'll shut off if that's the one you've chosen. Now that's kind of a cool feature too, because if you're having a party and you don't want it to go all night, maybe set the lights for 4 hours, and that way after 4 hours the lights go out and people go, well, I guess it's time to go home, and that way they can't overstay their welcome. If you're having a good time, hit the 4-hour button again and extend it another 4 hours. You also have complete control over the dimming. Now they built in 4 buttons down the bottom to make it really easy to hit a button to dim those lights to a certain level. So you can hit one button, it'll go to 25, 50, 75, or 100. And that's kind of nice because those are stop points where most people feel like it's full brightness or it's low or it's somewhere in the middle. But you also have complete control over 15 steps of full brightness to off. and you can control that by using the plus and minus buttons on there. So the remote is a completely full functional remote. I also love the fact that I've got great distance out of it, because some of the other dimmer modules I've used and tested really gave me short distances where I had to be right up on top of it to actually control the lights that were plugged into it. And that to me was just, it was functional, but if I'm that close to it, I can just unplug the lights. I don't really need a remote control. So I love the fact that this one works from quite a distance away. I also love the fact that it's completely weatherproof, because again, some of the other dimmer modules don't have the IP65 rating, which means they're weather resistant, but they're not weatherproof. And that's really important, because if this is going to be out all winter, you're going to get freezing rain, you're going to get sleet, you're going to get hail, and those kind of things can really abuse an electronic device like this. So knowing this one is IP65 rated means I have no fear using this outside my home all through the winter, all through the summer. I never have to unplug it, so it's really good. So if you stay tuned, next what I'll do is a quick demo just to show you how this thing works, and I'll show you some of the features that the remote control provides as well. With this demo, I've got two different styles of light. I'm simulating a lamp, a stand-up lamp here with an incandescent bulb. That's the old style light bulb with the filament in it. In front of me, I have a string of LED lights as well. These are dimmable LED lights, and I'll start with the incandescent bulb. So I plug the dimmer into an outdoor outlet. Again, typically it's a GFI outlet, a 3-prong for sure. You'll plug your lights into this end of it, and then you can use the remote control to turn it on. There are two buttons on the top that'll turn it on and off. Let me turn it on. That's full brightness. And I can turn it off by hitting the other button. Now, to show you that this remote isn't an infrared remote like most of them are, it's an RF remote, which actually travels a lot further. So I can go 100 feet away from the dimmer module and actually control it. I'll go under the desk with it. I'll push the on button, it's on. I'll push the off button. There's no way that it could be infrared and actually hit that. So it's proving that it's RF. All right, so let me turn them back on. Now, adjusting the brightness is incredibly easy. There are 4 buttons at the bottom that have 25, 50, 75, and 100% brightness. I'll go down to 50% here. You can see it responds really quickly. There's 25% and there's 75%. Now, this unit also has a memory, so I've set it at 50%. Let me turn it off. Let me turn it back on. I wonder what's going to happen. It stays at 50%. So the dimmer remembers the last brightness you set, and when you turn it back on, it'll maintain that brightness. And that's wonderful, because if you're using outdoor lighting on your patio, you might find a brightness that's perfect for you, and you want to find that brightness next time without fiddling around with a lot of buttons. So once you set it, you can turn it off. When you come out the next night and turn it on, it'll be the exact same brightness. You also have complete control over the brightness with these 2 green buttons here, the plus and minus. So let me take it down step by step. Again, 15 steps. You can go all the way down to dim. We can go all the way back up to full brightness. So you've got a lot of control there. The blue buttons determine the amount of time on the timer. So if I want to set a 4-hour timer, I'll hit the 4-hour button. It immediately starts counting down from 4 hours. When I reach the end of 4 hours, it shuts off the lights. And as I mentioned before, that's a great way to clear the party. If somebody, if you're staying too long, you set it for 2 hours, hey, the lights went out, everybody's got to go. And if you're having fun, just hit another 2-hour button. The last thing I wanted to mention was how it controls the LEDs. So let me unplug this. Let me turn it off first. Let me go up to 100% brightness, then I'll turn it off. Now I'll plug in the LEDs. And as I mentioned before, you just need to verify that the lights you're using are dimmable, because not every LED set is dimmable. Most of them are nowadays, but just check the box before you plug it in. So this is a set of LED lights. Let me turn it back on. And I like these lights a lot because it's a clever design for LED lights. Some of the LED lights that are sold in the market have a colored bulb with an LED light inside of it, and that's kind of a fake LED bulb or a fake color light. This one actually has filament that looks, it's not filament, it's an LED bulb that looks like filament inside of it, but it's colored, and it's a glass globe. So I like these an awful lot. Anyway, that's an LED dimmable, and I'll show you how I can take it down to 50%. Let me take it down to 25%, even lower. Here it is at 100%. So you've got complete control over it. And again, I can dim it step by step if I went down lower. And I like that an awful lot. And to turn them on and off, same as you did before. There's the on button, there's the off button. When I turn it back on, it remembers the level of brightness that I set last time. So anything you can control, I should say anything that's dimmable, just plug it into the end of this and you're ready to go. And if it's Christmas time, maybe you've got your lights on, you set it for 4 hours, you go to bed, you forget to turn the lights off, all of a sudden, the timer ran out and the lights went out. So you've got complete control over it, which I think it's handy, but it's really 3 products in one, like I'd mentioned before. I use it an awful lot just for the on-off function because I've got string lights on my patio, and I set it to a certain level that's sort of romantic. So when we have a party, it looks really nice. It's not super bright. And when I go out there in the evening, I just hit one button, they turn back on at the same brightness level, and I love that. And when we're having a party, I'll be honest, I'll pick 4 hours. If people are still around and the lights go off and the party's going well, I'll turn them back on. But if not, that's kind of the cue for everybody to clear the deck. So anyway, that's all I had today. I really think this is a clever product. It's well worth the money. It's reasonably priced. I use it myself and I like it an awful lot, and I've recommended it to friends. So hopefully you found this review helpful. And until next time, stay nerdy.